To make the value flow, you need to target waste types of waiting, transportation, and rework times. If you recall the process cycle time analysis sheet during your analysis of the time lengths, you have probably identified some activities that consume time either waiting for or waiting by a machine, or others to transport material, or some activities that involve reworking a defective product. All these sorts of activities are considered non-value added ones that should be removed or minimized to make the value flow through the value stream. Setup or changeovers are any preparation activities needed before starting producing the product or service. Preparing a machine to be ready to produce product B, for instance, after producing product A, is a kind of setup time. Looking for necessary files and documents in a service process in order for the officer to process an order is also a form of setup. Again, you might have identified such activities in the process cycle time analysis sheet. Try to have this setup offline and before the process starts. Or use SMID technique or the single minute exchange of dies to reduce setup times and make the changeover as fast as possible. In lean thinking, batching refers to the practice of processing or producing items in large groups or batches, as opposed to one piece at a time or in smaller quantities. Piling up invoices at the accountant desk, for instance, is a form of batching, and it is often seen as a form of waste or inefficiency in lean thinking, because it can lead to several problems such as overproduction, which refers to producing more items than are immediately needed, leading to excess inventory and storage costs. It also leads to longer lead times, as processing items in batches can increase the time it takes for a single item to move through the process, as it must wait for others to be completed before processing begins. Batching causes increased defects, since batching can make it more challenging to identify and correct defects early in the process, as they may accumulate in a larger batch before being detected. Batching can also result in reduced flexibility, as it can make it difficult to respond quickly to changes in customer demand or product variations, as it commits resources to a specific batch size. So, one-piece flow or small batch production is highly recommended to overcome all problems resulted from batching and to make the process leaner with less wastes. Principle 9 refers to the use of parallel activities in a process rather than sequential activities. If your as-is process includes independent sequential activities, ask yourself, why should they be performed in sequence? Consider rearranging independent activities to be performed in parallel to achieve gains in process cycle time and ultimately in the overall lead time to deliver the product or service to your customer. A famous example on parallel activities is the Formula One wheel change task. In a Formula One pit stop, every movement and action is meticulously planned and executed to minimize waste of time and resources. There is no unnecessary waiting or idle time, and all activities are done in parallel to reduce change time. You may find that the sequence of steps in your as-is process requires some reorder. Challenge the order in which steps are performed and the logic of a step being performed before the succeeding one. For example, in a fast food restaurant that serves burgers, fries, and drinks, the natural order of process activities in this context would be order placement, food preparation, order assembly, packaging, and serving. So if the kitchen staff begins preparing food items before the customer's order is placed, that could lead to problems such as food items getting cold because they were prepared too early. Also, this leads to increased risk of mistakes as staff tries to guess which orders these pre-cooked items belong to. In addition to longer wait times for customers, as the staff have to reheat or remake food items to match specific orders. Hence, logical and natural order of activities is essential to minimize various types of wastes and inefficiencies in a process.